Hey friends, welcome to Family Photography 101 Art and Business. This is your one-stop shop webinar to learn how to create connected family photographs every time you capture a family. This is to start or accelerate your family photography business with heart and meaning. So even if you don't have a photography business up and running, this is a good place for you to be. But if you already have a photography business up and running and you want to accelerate it, have better systems, have more meaning, more connection, more artistic vision, then this class is going to be perfect for you. So you might be here because you don't even know if you want to be a family photographer. Or maybe you've been at this a while, but you need to freshen things up. You're burning out, or you're thinking of pivoting, meaning maybe changing directions in your family photography work. Or maybe you feel completely overwhelmed with all that there is to learn about family photography, because let's be real here, there's a lot to learn. Maybe you don't even want to get started about feeling completely overwhelmed with all that there is to learn about running a family photography business, right? There is so much to learn and you might be feeling overwhelmed. You want your family work to feel meaningful, artistic, and connected. You want to stand out in our very saturated market, and let me tell you, there's room for everybody, but standing out is important. Or maybe you want to book more clients because you are absolutely and totally in love with family photography, and you would just like to be able to photograph more families. Maybe you're here because you don't even know where to begin. If you resonated with any of those bullet points, this is the place for you. I am so happy to have you here, and you should be really proud of yourself for showing up for yourself. So what I want to ask you is if I can have your undivided attention. You signed up, you clicked play, you are showing up for this webinar. This is self-care. This is important for you. Something inside of you told you to be here, and so I'm going to ask you to close all of the other apps that are open on your browser, because those can mess up the webinar's functionality, and also to turn your phone over. Give yourself this 45 minutes to an hour. Give me your undivided attention so I can teach you what I know and so I can help you thrive. All right, so if you are with me in the chat box, go ahead and type yes, that I can have your undivided attention. So what I want is to ask for your help. Let's do a little bit of cooperative business development. Take a photograph somewhere, sometime before you put that phone down during this webinar and tag me in your Instagram stories, ElenaS.Blair_photography, and I will reshare. I reshare every single tag that I get. This helps more eyes get on your business, but it also helps me to share this free webinar with other people, because I give a lot of education out for free because I sincerely want to see other family photographers thrive. But I need your help in getting the news out. So please, if you are so inclined, take a photograph of yourself, a selfie, learning today, and share it on Instagram, ElenaS.Blair_photography, and I promise I will reshare. All right, before I go any further, who the heck am I? Let me tell you a little bit about myself, me, your presenter. So my name is Elena S. Blair, and I am a lifestyle, family, and newborn photographer based out of Seattle, Washington. I started my business in 2009, so kind of a long time ago, with I was about to have my second baby. I had a 2-year-old at the time. And when my business really got going was when I had a toddler and a newborn and a big dream. I knew that I wanted to be a family photographer, and I didn't know how. I worked tirelessly and have developed a lot of systems that I'm going to talk to you about today, all from, the corner of my house where I was learning these things on my laptop in those days, and now in my dining room is where I mostly work. So I've been at this a while. I photograph about 150 families a year. So I'm not just an educator that's out there teaching you things that I'm not actually putting into practice. I'm always updating my systems and sharing them with my community. I also photograph schools. I do fine art school portraits, and I do about 5 schools a year. And then on top of that, I own an online education platform, which may be how you found me, called The Connection, Elena S. Blair Education. Both names work, and I reach thousands of photographers every month with my online education, both free and paid. My mission is to help family photographers to have a place in this industry, a significant place, but also to find success so that you are still here, so that you haven't burnt out. I really do believe that there is room for all of us at this table. And so that is why I'm here today, to teach you all that I know about family photography. So why should you trust me? You really should always know your educators. It's a beautiful thing that there are so many educators on the internet right now. I think that's really amazing. It's also your job to do due diligence and make sure that you know your educators and that you know who you're learning from and that you know that you're going to be able to connect and get value from those educators. So I've been educating since 2013. And like I said, I reach thousands of photographers each month. I also speak all over the world at conferences about family photography. I am a family photographer through and through, and I started my photography journey maybe a lot like some of you here tuning into this webinar when I was inspired to pick up my camera when I had my first child, who is he is 13 now, excuse me. So I started for a personal reason, and I started to feel at the beginning like maybe I should do something other than family photography. And luckily I dug in my heels, I stuck with it, and I have a thriving multiple six-figure family photography studio. And when I say studio, I mean I do everything outside of my dining room, and I'm all on location, so I just use that term. But it is something that I like to talk about, how I started, and I like to share with you that I actually have the experience to be able to give you this knowledge and share this knowledge with you. And I am a lifestyle family photographer, so I don't work in a studio. I call myself a studio, but I don't work in a studio. I don't work with artificial light. I work with real families, and I love it. I love every bit of it. And so if that's what you want to learn, then you are in the right place. So like I said, I photographed 180 families last year alone, all using the exact same systems I teach. So what I'm sharing with you is not just a, pie in the sky idea. It's actual systems that work. One of my largest classes has over 40,000 students, and 100% of the students who have taken that class would recommend it to others. So I'm actually really pretty good at teaching too. And I'm saying that from a place that is humble. I am grateful for every single student that I get to work with. But my point being is that my teaching style is very down to earth. It's very real. I'm not teaching high level concepts. I want this to be easy for you. And I hope that you will feel the same at the end of this webinar. I also have thriving positive Facebook communities with over 5,000 members in my combined groups. And if you guys have been around and been in Facebook communities, you know that Facebook communities can actually get sort of nasty sometimes, can be kind of negative, but mine are not. And I think that's a true testament to the types of students that I get to work with. My communities are incredible, and it's something that I'm really proud of. Like I said, I'm also an international speaker. I speak all over the world about this subject only, family photography and newborn photography, because that's, falls under the same umbrella, and school photography, which falls under the same umbrella, but I speak all about family photography. But as you can guess, it wasn't always that way. So like I mentioned a little bit earlier, my journey started, and please bear with me. I just feel like I really want you to know who I am before I get into the nitty-gritty of this webinar. So it all started with motherhood. This is my son. He is 13. He just turned 13 last month. And when I had him, I'm going to admit that I felt pretty isolated. I felt pretty lost, and I was really overwhelmed. I picked up my camera to capture him because I was looking for an outlet, a way to share what I was going through. He was a very intense kiddo. And what I found was that the pictures that I was taking weren't photographing just what he looked like, but they were photographing who he was. His personality was actually coming through in those photos, and it was addicting. I couldn't get enough of it. I wanted more. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to learn about how to use my camera and make better photos of him. And then I wanted to share, and it sort of spread. The passion that was burning inside me kind of came out and spread like wildfire. And I'm sure some of you can understand how that goes. Quickly after having him, I had 2 more babies, 2 girls. They are now 10 and 6. So my children are 10, 6, and 13. And it just became more intense. I wanted to capture my girls. I wanted to capture all of them together. And I started sharing on a family blog. Yes, I was a mommy blogger like a lot of us were back in 2010. And I was getting attention for my work from mostly those that I loved. But I realized, wait, maybe I could photograph other people. If I could be this happy photographing my own children, maybe I could make this into a career that made me happy. And at the time, I was actually working as a registered nurse. I worked in the NICU and I loved that job, but for some reason, I started dreading going to work as a NICU nurse. I didn't want to leave my children for so many hours. I was underappreciated and underpaid, and I had this burning passion inside me. And something said, Elena, you should make this into a business, even though it seemed completely crazy. But I started obsessing over all of the possibilities that I thought maybe, just maybe, family photography could make possible for me. I wanted freedom. I didn't want to be at the, helm of these people's schedules. When someone would put me on the schedule for my nursing career, that was it, man. I could not get out of it. And I wanted more freedom. I wanted freedom to be able to live my life the way that I wanted to live. I wanted to be taken seriously as an artist. I'm just going to be totally honest with you. That was really important to me. I had started this passion project. I started to become a photographer for personal reasons because of photographing my own children. And I kind of felt like I wasn't taken seriously. And I desperately wanted to be taken seriously as a photographer, as a businesswoman, as an artist. I wanted to create every damn day. Back there, when I was showing you that photo of my son and telling you the story, I felt isolated. I didn't know that I had this creative passion, and photography woke that up inside of me. And then I was obsessed, addicted. I wanted to create every single day. I started to see possibilities that I didn't even dare to dream up before, like a beautiful website. I wanted my own website, and I was really, really passionate about it. I wanted loyal clients and I wanted loyal fans. Again, I wanted to be taken seriously. I wanted to be recognized as a family photographer. I wanted recognition for my work, and I think that a lot of you can relate to that. Does this sound familiar? If this sounds familiar, please type yes in the chat box. Let us know. I'm hoping that I'm not alone here. But I was spread so thin. For so many years, I had so many babies. I know that if any of you here are moms and you started this journey because you became a mother and that's why you became a photographer, you have this passion, you want this for you, you're like, I think I can do this, but then you've got so many babies that need so many things. I had a quote unquote real job. I was working 24 to 36 hours a week as a registered nurse, so I was really spread thin. And then I thought it was a good idea to be PTA president my son's kindergarten year, which was a huge job. I had a husband who I wanted to be a good partner to. I wanted to have enough time to be a good partner. I was running the carpool. So basically what I'm saying, I have this little silly meme, is that either he was crying or I was crying. I was busy, but this burned inside me, this passion, this something that said I wanted more. But can we talk about how overwhelming this all is? Being a photographer also means that you are a web designer, you are a copywriter, you are a blogger, you are a studio manager. You go to the websites that are helping you learn how to be a family photographer, and it is so overwhelming. It feels so complicated. And the sad thing is that many educators want you to believe it's complicated. And so you go and you start learning all of this stuff. And unfortunately, what happens to a lot of people is they burn out. They don't end up actually finding that success that they desire. They don't realize all of those possibilities because they are overcomplicating things. And at the time, guys, I felt like I couldn't afford it. The internet was telling me that this was going to require a lot of money, that I was going to need to buy a bunch of artificial lights, that I was going to need to buy all of these cameras, that I was going to need to spend all kinds of money on all kinds of things that, quite frankly, we didn't have the money for. But that's not true. To this day, I have 2 cameras and 3 lenses and a laptop. That is it. And the only reason I have 2 cameras, to be completely transparent with you, is because when I upgraded, I kept the old one. I started my whole business with a crop sensor. So don't believe those lies. You do not need all those things. I heard a calling and I followed it. And my gut is telling me that if you're here watching this webinar, you feel that calling towards family photography, and that is something that I truly believe you should follow. So, like I said, I did what any budding photographer would do, which might be what you're doing, and I took to the internet, and I started seeing all of the things that I perceived as successful, like wedding photography, perfect poses with everyone dressed in perfect outfits staring straight at the camera, studios. I thought that maybe in order to be successful, I needed to buy a space in a studio, or that I needed to learn artificial lights. I thought that that was what it meant to be successful. So I went from capturing natural light photographs of my children in all their glorious authenticity, breaking rules, chopping heads, using light creatively, taking pensive, real, honest photographs of my children, to attempting to make everyone look perfect. This is back in 2012. This couldn't be further from my style now. This family is beautiful. They're dressed, though, in a way that is absolutely perfect. They're looking at the camera. They look stiff. The composition is boring. The light is boring. It's a pretty photo, but it's so boring. It is a lot different than this, isn't it? But I started to do this because that was what the internet was telling me I needed to do to be successful. And then I thought, well, I better start photographing weddings. I did one wedding. This is the only one. Learned quickly that I did not like it. Well, and then of course, I thought, well, maybe in order to be taken seriously, I should probably get some trendy actions. I don't know what was happening here. I bought an action set, started throwing it on everything. I was spending 12 to 24 hours on each shoot if we go from start to finish with editing and all of that, and charging $0 to $100. So basically, I was making negative dollars. Who can relate to this? If you can, no judgment. We all start in very similar places, I promise. So I almost quit. I thought, wait a minute. Being in business is literally sucking the passion out of photography for me. Family photography is sucking the passion out of photography for me. Why am I doing this to myself? I thought that everyone had to be posed perfectly and looking at the camera in order to be a real, and I put those in air quotes, real family photographer. I thought that everyone had to be posed and looking at the camera to be a successful family photographer. And guess what? My clients weren't as satisfied, which was really, really stressful, because people can sense BS, for lack of better terminology. People know when you're doing something that you aren't passionate about. So when I, at the core, was a photographer that was doing this kind of work and taking photos like this of my children, and then I switched to taking photos like this, I wasn't happy, and my clients knew it. Even if they didn't know why, they knew. Business was slow. I was scrounging for clients during that time when I was posing everyone and trying to make everyone perfect. And my work wasn't satisfying. I was burning out. I was working as a nurse. I had 3 children. I was trying to get this business off the ground, and I wasn't even happy with the work I was producing. So I sought help. I thought, okay, I probably should just quit because I already have a safe job. Elena, what are you thinking? You already have a safe job. But something inside me was like, no, you want to be this family photographer. So I got a portfolio review. Long story short, if you've ever heard me speak at a conference, I tell this story over and over again because it was such a pivotal moment for me. I sought help. I paid for a portfolio review that I could barely afford. And she told me, your commissioned work, so when somebody is paying me to take their photos, is boring. And your personal work, so the work that I was creating of my children, is deep and moody and meaningful. Why? There's 2 different photographers there. I went home, I licked my wounds, and then I looked at my work, and she was absolutely right. And so right then, I decided that I was going to only do things my way. I was going to stop listening to what everyone said about how to run my business, how to make my art, and I was going to change everything. It was a last-ditch effort. It was make it or break it. And I thought, I'm going to make it work or I'm going to quit. And this is when I did a really deep dive and I developed systems that were vision focused. So what I mean by that, first and foremost, is that one of the most frustrating things as a photographer is not being able to bring your vision to life. So you have to know what that vision is. So this is a photograph that's much more in line with my creative vision, much more than that photo I showed you in 2012. So I decided that I would only shoot in a way that was artistically satisfying for myself, no matter who I was photographing. I also realized that because I was so busy, I needed a repeatable framework. Also, my clients weren't satisfied because my work wasn't consistent. So I needed a repeatable session flow and framework so that I could over time and time again create the same feelings. So these are all different families using the same strategies, same session flow, and I knew that I needed to do that. I needed simple business tactics that were profitable because let's just face it, I was making negative dollars an hour, spending time away from my family. I wanted this to work, but I needed it to be simple. And that was where I got a lot of criticism from my further along peers, people in the photography industry that were ahead of me. And this is nearly a decade ago, but people were telling me that I was losing money because I wasn't doing in-person sales and that I wasn't a real high-end photographer because I wasn't doing in-person sales. They were telling me that I needed lights and a studio in order to be legit. And they were telling me that because I was all-inclusive, that I was undercutting our market. That's all a bunch of noise. Anyone out there who tells you that their way is the only way, or that a super complicated way is the only way, or that you are doing something wrong, they're the ones who are wrong. You can do your business how you want to do your business. It does not need to be complicated, I promise. So here is what you actually need in order to make this whole family photography thing work. You need simple business systems that save you time. That is how you actually make a profit. Let me tell you that again. Business systems should be simple. You should not be spending hours and hours and hours on your business if you are not making a large profit. So if you can simplify, you should be making a lot of money per hour. Remember I said I used to be a nurse, so I knew what I was making per hour. So as a business person, I make sure that I am making a really high profit per hour, and simple business systems are how you do that. You need emotive photography that focuses on creativity and connection, which is going to lead to client and artistic satisfaction. So if you are satisfied with your work, you are going to be here in 10 years telling your story to your peers that are newer, okay? I promise. You don't want to burn out. You need to be artistically satisfied so that you can show up even during the hard times and continue to create over and over again. But also, when you don't burn out and you have really, really deep and meaningful work, your clients feel something when they look at what you're creating and they come back year after year. For the last 5 years, from the months of August through December, I am photographing 90% returning families. My business runs itself because of this. So from your website setup to inquiries to shoots, like the actual shoot, to the gallery delivery, I have a simple framework that has worked for nearly a decade. I literally do the same thing every time. My photography business runs like a well-oiled machine. So raise your hand if you want to photograph families in an outside of the box way, something that is going to set you apart from the crowd. And put yes in that chat box if this is you. Raise your hand if you feel frustrated because your sessions seem stressful. Maybe your photos don't look like you want them to. You have a vision, but you're not seeing it come to life. You feel like your galleries aren't consistent, so you aren't creating something that is, undeniably you, that is not consistent, that's not repeatable. Your work is sort of all over the place. You don't even know where to begin when planning a family session. You don't even know how you would start. Maybe you don't have a routine and you do have some family sessions, but they feel completely chaotic and disorganized. Or your clients aren't coming back year after year and it's making you doubt yourself. Maybe you aren't even booking clients. Maybe you aren't even sure if you want to be a family photographer. Or maybe you do have a family photography business, but you want to spruce up your family photography systems so that they're more organized and you want your style to be more true to you and your artistic vision. Or maybe this is all sounding like another language and you don't even know where to begin. There is freedom in the lifestyle genre. So our work is always something that somebody wants to define, and I don't really feel like the words we use are important. It's more the feeling. But the lifestyle genre, that's what I am, a lifestyle photographer, gives you some creative freedom. So let me tell you a little bit about what lifestyle even means. So at every session, I take a little bit of all styles, let's be real, but I only show lifestyle work because that's what I want to attract. So these next 3 photos that I'm going to show you are all from the same session. This is what I would call traditional. Everybody is posed pretty darn perfectly. Look at the little girl's smile. It is about as forced as a smile can get, but everyone's smiling, looking at my camera, very stiff, lighting. The light is very boring and safe, but it's beautiful, and that is a traditional photograph. Lifestyle is what I like to call a fantastical portrayal of reality. So I put them in beautiful light, I guided and directed them, I told them how to stand, and then I allowed them to unfold in front of me. Much more meaning, much more creativity. This is much more me as an artist, much more me as a person. And then documentary is when you sort of sit back and just watch your clients or watch whoever your subjects are. So I like to say that lifestyle sort of fits comfortably right in the middle of traditional and documentary. That's what lifestyle is. Is there a market for this genre? People will ask me, don't most people want traditional family photos? Guys, no, that's not true. There is a market for any genre, and trust me, when photographs are more meaningful, people will come to you for them. But then the other end of this is people will say, well, my clients want candid family photos. So do mine. They think that this is candid, but the truth is lifestyle photography actually takes quite a bit of guiding and directing. So what I learned is that consistency and systems were the key to success as a family photographer. This made me happier because things ran more predictably and in a more organized way. My shoots felt much more doable, but it also made my clients happier because they knew what they were going to get. They knew what to expect as far as the whole experience. So from inquiry to gallery delivery, they knew what to expect, and so they were happier as well. And like I said, for the past 5 years, from the months of July through November, I photograph 99% returning families, which is really cool because I get to know these people. So people hire you based on how they feel. By providing a professional yet personal experience and providing emotive photographs, you have a foolproof system for success. So here are my 6 keys to success. If you have a pen and paper, you should write these down. Connection over perfection. If there is one thing that you learn from this webinar and you don't decide to take the next step and go further with me, concentrate on creating connection in your photographs over creating perfect photos. This is going to be more satisfying for you and more satisfying for a viewer of your work, but also more satisfying for your clients. You must learn to master light and composition, and it should happen in camera. If you see pretty light in my photos, it happened actually at the session. I never add lens flares. I do very minimal editing actually. So you really do need to learn about light and composition. You need a routine. You need a repeatable workflow. I have taught my family session workflow to thousands of photographers who implement this from all over the world every day. It works. You need a routine. Family sessions can get really chaotic. There's lots of people running around, sometimes babies, all different ages. You have to have a routine. I call it my family session flow. You do need solid posing and guiding skills. Yes, even if you're going to be a lifestyle photographer, you have to have the ability to direct and guide. These are real people we're working with. They probably feel uncomfortable in front of the camera. They expect you to be the expert and to tell them how to act in a way that is going to be beautiful on camera. You need those skills. You need really clear and in-depth client communication. If you have ever had dissatisfied clients, or you have clients who are coming to you expecting something that you don't offer, your communication, there's holes there. And so you need really clear and in-depth client communication. And I like to also just call it client education. But above all, a vision that is unique to me and only me. That's my last and most important key to success, other than connection. And I want you to learn a vision that is unique to you and only you. Because anyone that teaches a class and tries to make you be like them is not a very good teacher. That is not the way that we make more successful photographers in this world. I actually am really good at teaching you how to be unique to yourself, because I promise you what you have inside of you is far more magical and amazing than anything that's inside of me. I want you to find that, and I'm really good at helping my students learn how to find their own vision. I have learned how to teach others my entire process. As you saw up there, I've had over 40,000 students, 100% recommend my classes. I promise you I'm good at this. All right, but how, you're saying? I want clients though, you might be telling me, and I want this to work. How are we going to do this? Consistency. It all flows together. Consistency in everything that you do, your client communication, how the family session runs, how you pose and guide, how you run the editing. Everything needs to be really consistent. You need repeatable workflows in your business. So from how you email, from how you set up your website and communicate, from how you run the whole session, from editing to gallery delivery needs to be repeatable. Your online communication needs to be super clear. Like I said right here, you need clear and in-depth client communication. It has to be really clear. Client education goes right along with that. You have to really be able to tell your clients what they need to know to show up for you in the way that you need them to in order to create that beautiful artistic vision. You need a repeatable session workflow. Your sessions should be carefree and fun and leave you with the freedom to create. Gallery delivery needs to be seamless and beautiful and professional. And that's when I say gallery delivery, I mean like delivering the photographs to your clients online. Online communication, which is marketing, needs to be very direct and clear. Your expectations for your clients need to be clear. They need to know exactly what you expect of them, and they need to know exactly what they can expect from you. But you might be saying, wait, you just told me, Elena, that I need to have a clear artistic vision, and then you're telling me I need all of this like really routine stuff. You're saying, I want my work to stand out. Wasn't that what we were just talking about? Yes, and I'm going to tell you how you do that. And it's that a lot of times what we do is we get lost in how we want our work to look and not what we want our work to feel like. And so I'm really good at teaching you how to connect to that vision and how you make your work feel. Because emotional connection leads to client satisfaction. They don't see anything when they're connected to your work, they feel something, and that is the key. So take this photograph, for example. This mom's got 4 kids. I'm always thinking of the moms, probably because I'm a mother, but these parents have 4 kids. And if they were looking right at me and everyone was posed perfectly, she would notice what they were wearing. She might remember the fight that the kids got in earlier. She might remember, that she was unhappy with what her husband chose to wear, whatever. She might be seeing all of these flaws and things. But when she feels something, in this one, her family is playing beautifully together on this beach that's near her home. She's embracing her husband. He's holding her in a supportive way. She doesn't see anything. She feels something. And when she feels something, she hires me every single year. That is the key. Emotional connection is going to lead to client satisfaction. Families are going to come back year after year when they're connected to your work, and they're going to tell their friends. I want you to leave boring family portraits behind you. I want you to stand out in a saturated market because your work is unique and true to your artistic vision, not a trend. Your client experience is going to be professional and consistent, which is going to make people want to be part of your brand every single year. But above all, what's so important? I want to take care of you, the artist. You're not going to burn out. You are going to make art that is meaningful to you because that is why you started in the first place, isn't it? Because you wanted to make art. I taught myself all of this, and I'm going to tell you right now that you can teach yourself this too. You can get on the YouTube and get on the Google and get on the Facebook, and you can watch all of my free stuff, and it is going to take you years, probably, just to be honest, it took me years to learn all of these things. Or I can teach you because I know what I do works. I know it works because it works for me year after year and because I've helped thousands of students. Over 40,000 students. That's just one of my classes, and 100% recommend it. I promise this stuff works. I have a new course called The Lifestyle Approach to Family Photography, and it is a good one. There are 4 modules. It starts with the basics: light, composition, connection, family preparation, working with all family dynamics, posing and guiding, my tried and true family session workflow, difficult situations, behind the scenes videos, and full session walkthroughs. Teaches you how to find your own artistic vision and shoot with intention. Simple business systems, and yes, we're going to talk about pricing. And you're going to get all of my online proofing and editing tips and videos directly from my online proofing site, directly from my editors, to save you time. And so much more. I give you contracts, links to my welcome site, links to how to find locations so that you can see different location types, so much more. Donna says that my course is easy to watch, very engaging. She loves the way I work. My business approach, especially the all-inclusive pricing model, makes good sense to me. Sounds like a great approach for both photographer and client. But before I had watched this workshop, I did not know where to even start. This course has really boosted my confidence. Mary says this is such a brilliant course. I absolutely loved it, and I learned so much. Truly inspired and so grateful. Thanks, Elena, for sharing so much valuable information. So good. This course is meant to take the overwhelm out of family photography because I really want you to make it. This is going to save you years of self-doubt and hard work. All of those stories that I was telling you up there where I was emulating other photographers, I was trying to be perfect, it's going to save you all of that self-doubt. It is going to help you connect with who you are and give you the systems you need to take the overwhelm out. This course is $297 or 3 easy payments of $99. I am telling you, this is going to actually make you money because you are going to learn the systems that you need to run a profitable family photography business. Take action and join us. I want to see you here in 10 years telling your story. Now let me show you around. I'm going to show you the inside of the course and our really amazing Facebook group who is waiting for you with open arms. Let me show you. You'll see that inside the course, you get right in and you can totally start binging if you're a binger, but there is an introduction module. When I say there's 4 video modules, look how many bonuses there are in module 1. Behind the scenes, shooting at the beach, gallery examples for locations. I'm calling through whole sessions. I talk about rule breaking. I talk about exposing for mood. Module 2, preparing for the session, website, portfolio, online presence, client communication, creating a welcome site, marketing. Module 3, we go into the shoot, posing, and guiding foundations, my rules for working with families, how to work with a large family. And then we go into pricing and business strategies, editing, gallery presentation, more editing, culling a full gallery, batch editing, shoot-proof tutorials, more. So much for you. And then the Facebook group, thriving. This is all just recent posts that other students are in here sharing, and this group is so active, so welcoming, and so positive, and they're ready for you to come and join us. I know that this is exactly what you need. I never create something that isn't going to be actionable and great for you. Click the offer over here to your right of the screen. See you in there. Come in, introduce yourself, and help you take that next step to becoming the photographer that you were meant to be. Answer your calling. For $297, I promise you are going to make this money back because you are going to be able to start that business that you want to thrive in the family photography industry. I know you can do this, and then I know you'll pay it forward, and you'll be in my community sharing your success. I can't wait to see you there. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you in the full course. Take action, join us, be part of this movement of family photographers that are creating meaningful, real lifestyle photography. I'll see you there. I cannot wait. Thank you so much for your time today. Don't forget to share on Instagram under Elena S. Blair _photography. Thank you. I'll see you in the full course.